If we don't stop worry when we sense it, it will mature, it will develop. Worry develops into fear. It takes over. Ask somebody who's had a panic attack, an anxiety attack. Just tell them to stop. Just stop. They can't, because the worry that's turned into fear is overwhelming them. And it's coming out in their physical body. Breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, all of it. This is the effect of it. If we don't check it when we first sense it, it'll get out of control. Ultimately, what worry is doing is it depletes our faith. If you look at your lives like these little vases here, and this is your life full of faith, and you start to worry about things. There's an email circulating that there's maybe some downsizing at work, and I start to worry about, is my position safe? It doesn't seem like a lot to worry about, but I'm worried about it. And I hear about so-and-so in this relationship, and I start to worry about it. I feel, some symptoms, so I look them up on WebMD, and now I know that this is going to kill me, whatever it is. And I start to worry about it. I'm taking my faith out of my life. This is what the enemy does with faith. The enemy uses worry to weaken our faith. He wants us to worry. If we're worried about a situation, a set of circumstances, and we're worried about the outcome, what we're not doing is trusting God's in control and going to handle it. We're trading it. We're trading our faith for worry. And this is what the enemy wants us to do. This is why he distorts the perception. This is why he wants to deplete. He wants to take away. He's presenting these situations in our mind as bigger than they really are. He's magnifying things. We worry about money and relationships, about health. And it steals our faith. It distracts. It's the third thing that worry does, is it distracts. He tells us in verse 29, as Jesus is speaking, don't be concerned or seek about what to eat and what to drink. Don't worry about such things. These things dominate the thoughts of unbelievers all over the world, but your Father already knows your needs. Going back to this idea of food and eat, he's like, don't be seeking after the things that are just for survival. Life is more than that. Don't worry about those things. God knows, God cares, God can provide. Trust that he will. But seeking after things that God already knows about and that God's already at work in providing, that is the thoughts that dominate the people who are far from God. Worry is the way of the world. It shouldn't be the way of God's children. He says, don't live like the world. Don't live like lost people. We live with hope. We're saved by God's grace through faith that we believe. But then some situation starts to present itself, some pieces in our mind start to come together, and automatically our faith gets challenged. And we get distracted. And we start to seek other things. We believe that whatever is happening is out of control, so we're going to try to control what we can. We're not going to pray and wait and watch God, what we believe maybe has removed his hands from, and things are starting to spin in a direction that we don't want them to. So what do? Take control. We get involved. We start to seek our own solution, our own answers. But we're different than the world because of our faith and because we depend on him, even when it doesn't make sense. He says, don't be afraid, little flock. Because this is where worry goes. If we don't stop worry when we sense it, it will mature, it will develop. Worry develops into fear. It takes over. Ask somebody who's had a panic attack, an anxiety attack. Just tell them to stop. Just stop. They can't, because the worry that's turned into fear is overwhelming them. And it's coming out in their physical body, breathing, heart rate, blood pressure, all of it. This is the effect of it. If we don't check it when we first sense it, it'll get out of control. And because we have faith, that's the relationship we have with the Father, and we're to seek his kingdom above all else, above all of our needs, above all of our wants, to seek his kingdom because of the promise that he will give us everything we need, that he will provide. We don't have a reason to worry, and we don't have a reason to be fearful. So we can choose to live by faith and leave the faith in our life and trust him, even when our temptation and our tendency is to start to worry or we live in fear. But we can't live in both. It's going to be one or the other.